Why Einstein became the most famous scientist in history. Imagine you're holding your phone, checking Google Maps to find the nearest coffee shop. The little blue dot shows exactly where you are. But here's something wild. Without a man who died almost 70 years ago, that blue dot would be miles off. Your GPS wouldn't work. In fact, so many things we use every single day simply wouldn't exist. That man was Albert Einstein, and today, we're going to discover why he became more famous than any scientist in history. Let's go back to 1905. Einstein is 26 years old, sitting at a desk in Switzerland. But he's not at a university. He's not in a fancy laboratory. He's working at the patent office, basically reviewing other people's inventions for a living. It's a regular 9-to-5 job. During his lunch breaks and evenings, Einstein is scribbling equations on paper. And in that 1 year, he publishes 4 scientific papers that will change everything. Think of it this way. Imagine your favorite musician releasing 4 completely different songs in 1 year. And each song is so good, it wins the biggest music award. That's basically what Einstein did with science. His first paper explained how light works. Scientists had always thought light was purely a wave, like ripples on water. Einstein said, actually, light also behaves like tiny particles. This sounds like a small detail, but this one idea eventually led to solar panels on rooftops, the digital camera in your phone, and the technology behind quantum computers. His second paper proved that atoms are real. Wait, atoms weren't proven real until 1905. Nope, scientists knew something tiny must exist, but they couldn't prove it. Einstein did. The third paper introduced something called special relativity. This is where things get really weird. Einstein said that time and space aren't fixed. They can stretch and squeeze depending on how fast you're moving. The faster you go, the slower time passes for you. I know, it sounds like science fiction, but it's absolutely true. And the fourth paper, that's where he wrote down the most famous equation ever, E equals mc bi dot. In simple terms, this means that matter and energy are the same thing. A tiny bit of matter contains an enormous amount of energy. This is why the sun shines. This is how nuclear power plants work. 4 revolutionary papers. 1 year. From a patent office. But here's the interesting part. Even after all this, most people still didn't know who Einstein was. He was famous among scientists. Sure. But your grandmother wouldn't have recognized his face. That changed on one specific day, November 6, 1919. Einstein had made a bold prediction. He said that when light from a distant star passes close to the sun's gravity would bend that light, making the star appear to shift positions slightly in the sky. This was crazy. For over 200 years, everyone trusted Isaac Newton's explanation of gravity. Newton said gravity was just a force that pulled things together, like an invisible rope. Einstein said, no, gravity is actually the bending of space itself. Imagine space as a trampoline. Put a bowling ball in the middle, and it creates a dip. Now roll a marble across the trampoline. The marble's path curves around the dip. That's how Einstein saw gravity, not as a pulling force, but as curves in the fabric of space. To test this, scientists traveled to Africa during a solar eclipse and took pictures of stars near the sun. When they developed the photos and did the math, they discovered Einstein was right. The starlight had bent exactly as he predicted. The next day, newspapers around the world went crazy. Lights all askew in the heavens, screamed one headline. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know about this Einstein guy who had proven Newton wrong. Why did people care so much? Remember, this was 1919. World War I had just ended. Millions were dead. Countries hated each other. The world felt dark and broken. Then comes this story about a German scientist whose theory was proven correct by British scientists. Science didn't care about borders. Science united people. It gave them something to wonder about besides war. Plus, Einstein looked interesting. Wild gray hair. A warm smile. Quirky personality. He said memorable things like imagination is more important than knowledge. He became not just a scientist, but a symbol of genius itself. Now, you might be thinking, okay, he was smart and famous, but why does he matter to me? Let me show you. Remember when I mentioned GPS at the beginning? Here's why Einstein matters to your phone. GPS satellites orbit Earth really fast, and they're farther from Earth's gravity than we are. According to Einstein's relativity, time runs slightly faster for those satellites than it does for you standing on the ground. It's a tiny difference, just 38 microseconds per day. But if we didn't use Einstein's math to correct for this, your GPS would be off by about 6 miles after just one day. Every turn-by-turn direction, every rideshare pickup, every you have arrived at your destination, all powered by Einstein's century-old equations. Or think about where electricity comes from. Many power plants use Einstein's E equals mc Planck's equation. They take a tiny amount of uranium, let it transform into energy, and that energy powers thousands of homes. The sun does the same thing, converting mass into the light and heat that makes life on Earth possible. Medical scans that detect cancer early. Those PET scans use positrons, antimatter particles predicted by Einstein's work. But Einstein didn't just give us technology, he changed how we understand reality itself. Black holes, those mysterious objects in space that not even light can escape from. Einstein's equations predicted they should exist decades before we actually found one. The Big Bang, the idea that our universe had a beginning and is constantly expanding, that comes from Einstein's theories too. And here's something incredible. In 2015, scientists detected gravitational waves for the first time. These are ripples in space itself, created when two black holes crashed into each other over 1 billion light years away. Einstein predicted these waves would exist all the way back in 1916. It took us 99 years to build instruments sensitive enough to detect them, and when we finally did, they matched Einstein's predictions perfectly. So here's what makes Einstein special. He didn't have billion-dollar equipment. He didn't have supercomputers. He just sat and thought. He asked simple questions. What would I see if I could ride on a beam of light? What would happen if I was in an elevator falling through space? Simple questions that led to profound answers. Einstein once said, "The important thing is not to stop questioning," and that's his real gift to us. He showed that curiosity and imagination can unlock the universe's deepest secrets. Today, 70 years after his death, scientists are still using his ideas. They're using his equations to understand dark energy, to study black holes, to develop new technologies. Every deep space photograph confirms his predictions. Every new discovery builds on his foundation. So the next time you check your phone's GPS, or see a solar panel, or read about a new discovery in space, remember that patent clerk from 1905 who changed everything. In our next video, we'll explore one of Einstein's wildest ideas, why time actually slows down when you move fast, and why a person traveling in a spaceship would age slower than their twin on Earth. Yes, this is real. Yes, we've tested it. And yes, it's going to blow your mind. If you want to understand how Einstein broke everything we thought we knew about time and space, subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.